Welcome to another Choose a Career segment. Today I'm here with Mr. Wendell, and you work in the aircraft industry. Tell us about your company.
We are a family-owned and operated independent avionics repair and overhaul facility. The stuff comes into us and we do repairs and overhauls on the equipment and then send it back to the customer. We do business with what they call air transport companies, your bigger airplanes. We do a lot of work with Federal Express, of course. Air transport people like Coletta, DHL, some of your cargo carriers that we do a lot of business with, foreign government, military, commercial aviation, general aviation.
Now, for those of us who don't understand fully how all of this works, planes, for safety purposes, have to be certified or recertified? How does all of that work? Some of these parts have to be pulled off and tested before a plane can go back in the air. So give us just a little bit of a breakdown, because most consumers and most people who don't work in the industry don't understand how all that works.
Well, our regulatory guidance comes from the FAA, of course, and EASA, which is the European Aviation Safety Administration. And now it's gone a little bit broader than that after Brexit. You have the British kind of separated from the Euro, so now they have their own facility, their own aviation facility. But as the equipment comes into us, we do all the testing, repair, alignment, and then we certify it going back to the aircraft with what they call an FAA Form 8130-3. And that's the airworthiness certificate that allows somebody to put it back in the airplane that says that, yes, we repaired this equipment and we conform to the manufacturer's specifications using the component maintenance manual and all the equipment that's required, and it can be returned back to the aircraft with that certificate.
So the limited knowledge I have of this, things like engines actually come off.
Engines do, but not for us. Avionics, we're looking at radios.
Okay.
A lot of radio stuff, communications, navigation, radar, distance measurement equipment,
So we're not just talking about big pieces of the plane. Like, there's lots of little components in the planes that have to be checked.
Thousands and thousands and thousands.
So are all of these things built modularly in the plane so that they can come out easily and get to you guys?
Yes, they have radio racks. In the bigger airplanes, they'll have a radio rack, and you pull the box, send it out, stick a new box in. A&P mechanics, we're airframe and power plant. They're the ones people that actually work on the airplane. And when the airplane comes in, they'll have a squawk list or a problem list. This is, the pilots report, okay, this is what's going on in the airplane. And then the technicians will determine what the problem is likely to be. They'll pull the equipment and replace it and make sure it fixes it, and then end up sending off the equipment somewhere to have it repaired, somewhere like us.
Okay. This is nerding out a little bit, but there's not a parking lot for planes in Memphis. So do all of these airlines like Delta, American Airlines, do they all have their own places where the planes will fly to a certain city, and then they have aircraft hangars to handle changing this stuff off?
Mainly like Delta, their hub is Atlanta. And then they have another hub in up north, one of the up north cities, but Federal Express, their hub is here in Memphis.
Right.
So that's where all their planes land. Then they have hangars and technicians that actually troubleshoot the airplane to take care of what they need to do, and then they'll pull the box and send it to us. Military, they're at whatever military station they're at.
Right.
When I was in the Coast Guard, we had our own station. I was stationed in Savannah, Georgia. Coast Guard Air Station, Savannah, Georgia, and we had helicopters there. So we would do the aircraft troubleshooting and then pull the box. But back in my day, we would actually fix the box on the bench. But through time, and the military has gotten to the point where they want to focus on their core competency. They want to keep the ready bird flying.
Right.
Fix the plane. We'll send the box out and have it repaired.
Right. So they'll have,
they do.
So I'm assuming a lot of the military and probably some of the other airlines too have multiple sets of these components so that they can plug a new one in and then send the other one off and wait.
They have what they call what's called a spares pool. And a lot of your bigger airlines actually will hire a company to maintain their spares pool. So wherever that airplane is, no matter where it is, if it's down for that piece of equipment, They'll call up the company, the spares pool, and they'll have to ship them that piece of equipment, get it there as quickly as possible. One thing people don't realize about airplanes is airplanes are revenue-generating devices.
They're a tool, 1,000%.
They're a tool. And if they're not flying, they're not generating revenue.
And they're very expensive to sit on the ground.
And it's very costly for an airplane to sit on the ground and not fly.
So your company, you said y'all take in components from all over the world.
Yes.
What are some of the jobs that y'all perform here in Memphis?
We are only here in Memphis. It's a family-owned and operated business. We have about 80 employees. As technicians, they come in typically in the old days, about 80% of us were prior military because that's where we learned avionics. Now it's not as cut and dry. People more learn the airplane, and then when they come in, we basically teach them how to do the electronics and work on the equipment in shop.
Okay.
On the bench.
You said y'all do repair. Do y'all still repair some on the bench?
Oh, yes.
Here?
That is our main business, is repairing on the bench. The difference is, in the old days, it was what they call a component level, where you're troubleshooting the circuit boards to whatever bad component there is on the circuit board.
Right.
Now, we still do a lot of that because aviation it's not. Avionics is not something like consumer stuff where they just get rid of it if it's bad. Stick another one in there. You have to fix it because it's very, very expensive. So throughout the years, and now we have software, it's a lot more difficult to troubleshoot software. So basically it's board replacement. You might have a unit that has 6 or 7 boards in it, circuit boards in it, and you'll figure out what board the problem is in, shove another board in it, fix the unit, and charge the customer for the parts and the labor.
Do y'all utilize computers to help diagnose these boards and these issues?
Mainly component
maintenance.
Just the component maintenance manual. Everything is in the component maintenance manual for the unit that you're working on, and it's a requirement for us as part of FAR 145, which is the Federal Aviation Regulations, the ones that we work under, that you have to have what they call a current library. And that means we have to have the most updated publication for that piece of equipment for us to be able to certify it. So everything is in that book. Computer-wise, what we use for computers for is basically tracking and business functions.
Sure.
But the computer itself doesn't troubleshoot the actual box. Now, there are some that do. It's what they call an ATE, or a automatic test equipment. So you'll plug the unit in, and the computer will actually generate all the tests. Those are the ones that are more software embedded, and it'll run all the tests. But it'll basically just going to tell you what's failing, not where it's at or component-wise what the problem is. That's up to the technician to determine that based on what the symptoms and the book says and the problems that the unit has.
Okay. Now, for students who may be watching and may be getting interested in this type of career, this is one thing about us doing this particular series is we learn about a lot of jobs that we didn't even realize or think about existed out there. What types of training does a student need to have in order to work for you guys?
Initially, and one thing that we've done in the past is we've brought young people in without any electronics experience, and we basically train them from ground up, kind of like an apprenticeship. They might work in basically the entry level, refurbishing the equipment, painting the covers and doing beautification, stuff like that, or stripping aircraft antennas, the fixed antennas. They'll do all the stripping of it and painting, getting the antennas ready to go back. And then once they learn the business and how things are going, we kind of bring them up into more of a technician role to where they're actually on a bench and they're actually testing and certifying equipment. But in the old days when the military used to teach avionics, like a 2-year degree in electronics, and I've hired a lot of people with degrees in electronics. Except nowadays, a degree in electronics is not component level stuff like resistors, transistors, ICs, digital stuff. It's more computer software. That kind of stuff.
Changes so fast that it's impossible almost to have a degree that would teach you everything you need to know for today, because as soon as you hire somebody new in 3 years, some of that stuff is going to change.
Avionics is way behind the power curve when it comes to technology, just because of the expense. Let's say Federal Express has a fleet of 757 aircraft, Boeing 757s. If they want to upgrade one aircraft, that means they have to upgrade the whole fleet.
Right.
So cost-wise, they keep what's in their flying.
Right.
You know, and the 757s are an older aircraft, so it uses a lot of ARINC type stuff it's older, like 1960s, 70s manufacturing. So there on us, we have to repair that, and it's beneficial for the customer to still keep the airplane flying at a cost that's acceptable as far as their maintenance is concerned.
All right. So if students might be interested in working for you guys, how could they get in touch with you, and how could they get this going as a career?
Well, there's a number of different ways. Number one, and not everybody is ready for college or suited for college. College is not for everybody. Trade school, you have TCAT, which is a Tennessee College of Applied Technology. They have an avionics and airframe power plant school. Some of your Mississippi colleges have an A&P program, or airframe power plant program. Arkansas. So there's a lot of different ways to go about it, or the military. You know, if you don't want to go to college, you don't want to go to school or a trade school, the military is, you know, a very good option because of the benefits the military has as far as paying for your school when you get out of the military.
Right.
So they have a lot of benefits that are really valuable if you do a 4 or 6 year stint in the military. I did 6 years in the Coast Guard. And that's really where I started my career. After I got out of the Coast Guard and started working full time, I started going to school at night, and that's where I kind of developed. I went to school at night for 15 years, and got master's degrees and everything else. So it really just depends on the student and how much they want to learn and what they want to do to move forward. But all the options are out there, and if any of them wants to contact me, they can contact me at Avionics Specialists Incorporated. We have a nice website that gives you a lot of information. Just Google search Avionics Specialists Incorporated, Memphis, Tennessee, and it'll come up with our website, applications, and it gives you a basic diagram of everything that we do in the manufacturing, soldering, component theory, troubleshooting equipment, and then some of your support staff, what the support staff does, as far as the logistics part of running the business.
Okay, awesome. Well, students, if you're interested, you can visit one of our career coaches. They're located in the library. Thank you for coming and talking with us today.
Yes, sir.